Welcome guys, in this video tutorial we're going to learn how to transfer a large file to an Oracle server database. The application that we're going to be using is available to be downloaded from http://www.erobo.net/file to Oracle, and it was written by Erobo software. Um, Basically the function that this application takes is it will take an input file, it doesn't matter the size, and it will bring it to an Oracle database with the coordinates specified and with the location of the table specified, with your own credentials. So basically, this is how this works. And to illustrate my example today, we're going to be using an instance that I set up in my server, and that is Oracle database. And I'm going to show you what I have right now. It's the user instance is the $world, and I have just a couple of tables there right now. So just going to do just to illustrate, we run that query right there. So I have a table with country names, and then I think I have travelers. So the idea is that whatever we have, whatever data we want to bring to this instance $world, which is where we want to put it. So the way that we will do that is we're gonna use our client 32-bit connector, which is what is compatible with the file to Oracle application, and you have to install the full version, and then you will have to configure your TNS names.ora file. This file is the one that is going to be holding your connection credentials and the ones that you have to input into the Oracle or the file to Oracle application. And is this connection setup. You can read about it. There's Oracle tutorials how to set this up, but this connection setup, it is what you will need to be able to use the file to Oracle application. So once you configure your TNS names.ora based on the server that you're using, you should be able to open the application, which is right here, the file to Oracle. And this was the first release that we did, and it was released this year, and it shows you the capabilities. You can do Excel, CSV, text file, basically those three. It's mainly what you can use, and if you're using text or CSV, it's going to be comma separated. If you use Excel, then it automatically sorts out it based on rows. So this application here is going to ask you the credentials that we have in the TNS names.ora for your client 32-bit. And what we can do now is find out a file that we can transfer. So I have this file called the publicity campaigns, and it's about a 17 meg file. And this file is very large. It has about 800,000 rows. So it's going to be a great example for us to use for this particular case. So you have a column called the email address and a column called the domain address, and like I said, it's 800,000 rows. So our application will bring this data in no time with just a few clicks. So if this is what you're going to be doing daily, I do recommend that you come up with an automated solution that can take care of this. And like I said, I'll show you guys how big this file is. It's 17 megs. So the way that we will use this is I will go back to my application. I will input the credentials that I used before, and I have them here for my local user, and then I'll put my password there, and I'll test the connection to make sure that it's good. So let's just give it a couple of seconds there while it tests the connection and make sure. So the connection test was successful, and now I'm just going to connect. So now I'm connected. Now for the second step, the application has a very nice functionality, drag and drop functionality. All you have to do is drag the file over the area indicated, and it will automatically recognize the location and all the attributes. So in this case, all we want to do is connect to that file, establish a connection. Now we have it. You can also test the connection. And now all we will need to do is that we are connected to the database is select the database target. You might have more than one database for that particular connector that you specify in TNS names, or but in our case is the $world. For the table that I'm going to use, I'm going to call it campaigns. So I'm just call out Go ahead and hit that here, campaigns, campaigns. I'm sorry, I didn't spell that, campaigns. And then what I'll use is I'll use file headers as columns. And now for the setup for the maximum threads, that means the maximum number of connections that we can have simultaneous to execute the data transfer. I'm going to use 230 connections because I'm a sysdba on my own instance. But in your case, you have to figure out how many concurrent connections you can use. There's typically a limit set up. If it's 5, then you're gonna use 4. If it's 10, you're gonna use 9. Always below the limit. So in my case, I have plenty of room to use connections, so I'm just gonna use 230, and this is gonna go really quick. So now that we have everything set up, we're gonna initiate the data transfer. So it's gonna be doing a prefetching data stage first before the data can be transferred, and then the application will begin bringing the data. And now, like I said, this should be done in no time for almost 1 million rows that we're doing. And we did 3 steps, just a few clicks. We didn't even input any location. We used drag and drop functionality. And then for our last step, or select statement will be available here so that you can easily retrieve the data once it's on our target database. So right now this should start momentarily, and once it starts, the transfer should be going pretty quick. So just let's give it a couple of seconds. Okay, so it has begun transferring the data, and so far we have 10,000 transferred. So based on our target of 800,000 now we have to do, so it should go pretty quick. And we're using a maximum number of threads of 230, so it should transfer in no time. So okay, so we're almost getting to the 100,000 benchmark. So that's almost 10% of the total. So like I said, it's gonna go really quick. And once we get to the 800,000, then we should be able to demonstrate the data and the attributes. So let's just give it a couple of minutes, I guess. I think 2 or 3 minutes should be the max. So we're about 200,000. So we're almost halfway through. Halfway through will be 400,000, and then we'll be on the second half of this 1 million record transfer. All right, let's see. And again, if you don't have sysdba access, you still will be able to use it. It's going to take a little bit more of time. I'll say maybe an hour, but then you have the peace of mind to know that at the end you're gonna have the data is going integrity is going to be very good. This application has lots of handlers for byte transfer to a particular to any server, and memory management is done automatically by the application, so you will probably never run into any issues. The portability of the application is great, and like I said, it's a very low fee. It's only about $29, and you can install in a computer um, for usage. And again, typical setups for this is when you're asked to transfer large amounts of data, and um, using the conventional methods, it can be challenging because there's so many things that you can run into, and especially out of memory exceptions. That's when you deal with large amount of data, most of the applications tend to overwhelm. So there's gotta be some sort of memory management where you have to paste the data, organize the data, sort the data, and then bring in packets that are according to what is permissive. So those things, we're doing it internally. The file to Oracle application will help you achieve those goals. Okay, so guys, going back to here to the transferring status, we are almost 90% complete, so this should be done in no time, and you guys are gonna see once we're done transferring, because we selected our table here as campaigns. We should be able to retrieve the data once this indicates that the data transfer has completed, and then we can check our instance of Oracle to see whether the data has transferred correctly. So I recall vaguely, but it is about 800,000 records. So that's what we're going to find here in our results. So okay guys, so this is done. So the auto generated statement will be here, and we're just gonna copy, and we're going back here to my SQL application, and I'm just going to paste here, and we're going to just query this data, and you're gonna see that all data is in there, and then you have all the way to 800,000, which is what we have domain address. So the columns will match what you have on the sheet, and everything will be available for you to manipulate or enter into a table. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Remember, our application is available at the site below where you see it, and